What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I've just seen something really, really sad. Well, to me anyway. The wrestling legend that is Hulk Hogan died today. The legend Hulk Hogan. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I always thought he was gonna live forever. I really did. He just seemed to be, unstoppable. He was always in great shape all the way up to the end, if you ask me. I mean, if I was in the shape he was in, especially, right now, man, the guy was in great shape. 71 years old, and he had a cardiac arrest at home. I'd been reading all these things for a couple of weeks that he'd not been feeling good and that, but you know what these internet sources are like. You have to take it with a pinch of salt. So I never truly believed what I'd read, but you take it on board. You read that thing, but you never take it too seriously until today. Now, although I wouldn't class myself as a Hulkamaniac, brother, but I have to acknowledge that he was a big part of not even just my childhood. I was going to say my childhood, really, a big part of my life. Think about it. The guy has been wrestling at the top level of wrestling my whole life. Like, yeah, it's crazy. I know he's said and done some things, that haven't put him in the best of light over the years, but I think what we have to kind of appreciate that is, we're all human, right? He was human, we're all human. We all say and do stupid stuff sometimes, and I'm not condoning what he said or what he did or anything like that, but what I am saying is, we're all human, we all make mistakes. We all say things that are taken out of context at times, and I'm not saying that's what happened, I'm just saying it happens. So, yeah, it's a sad day for me, because, it was a bit deal. Bit of a different video today, I know, but I wanted to talk about this stuff. When you think about, this will perhaps land on more wrestlers' pages than it will bikers, but maybe there's some crossover there. I think there probably is. But when you think about Hulk Hogan and what he contributed to wrestling, I mean, if he hadn't have done the NWO with Scott Hall, another one, rest in peace, Kevin Nash, those guys changed wrestling. It's because of those guys that we got things like D-Generation X. It's because of those guys that we got things, really, it's because of those guys we got a more realistic wrestling. Because, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Matt Bourne as Doink the Clown, don't get me wrong. Another one, rest in peace. But, we had very cartoony sort of characters back then, Things like Doink the Clown and Dumpster, what was his name? Duke the Dumpster Dozer or something like that? I can't remember. And it was very cartoony until, the NWO, they sort of went, Eric Bischoff and Hulk and that went, well, if WWE are doing these cartoony things, we're going to go the opposite and we're going to go real. So they used their real names. Well, they used Hall and Nash's real names. Obviously, as far as we're concerned, Hulk Hogan is his real name. And yeah, they went the complete opposite way, and went for a more realistic approach to wrestling that completely changed how wrestling, even to this day, is presented. which is crazy, isn't it? But you know, it's also super cool. You know, imagine having that impact. That's all I'm saying. It's the impact. You know, like WWF as it was then. Basically, you know, had Hulk Hogan, this larger than life, you know, huge muscly guy, the All American, and they used that to help them to progress to a global product. Now, I'm not saying for 1 second, I'm not saying that WWF or Vince McMahon wouldn't have done it without him. I'm just saying he definitely helped. I remember the first time I saw, well, I remember the first time I saw wrestling, and Hulk definitely stood out to me. 100% Hulk stood out to me. He was this huge, larger than life. Nothing seemed to hurt him. And yeah, it was just, I'll just Royal Rumble 1991 is all I'm saying. That event, I watched that event and it hooked me. It hooked me in, and I've never looked back. People will say, "Oh, wrestling's for kids, whatever." Yeah, whatever. I don't care. I'm not exactly the most mature of people anyway, so you know, whatever. Anyway, guys, that'll about do it for this video. I just wanted to pay tribute to Hulk Hogan because, you know, I have to, all things considered, I have to thank him for everything that he, you know, for all the entertainment and everything he put through, his body through, and put himself through for people like me and my entertainment. So, thank you, Hulk, and rest in peace.